So today's Japanese slang term is ikebo. This is a shortening of iketeru, or being hot, being attractive, and boisu. So ikebo is just a attractive sounding voice. The same ike that you know from phrases like ikemen, for instance, which is, just the word for a hot guy. Now, generally speaking, ikebo is not really used to talk about just kind of people on the street, but idols, voice actors, etc. And depending on which article about ikebo you read, there's going to be different descriptions. Obviously, what makes a voice ike is going to differ depending on the person. But some common traits that you see listed time and time again are things like having a low, heavy, but not gravelly voice, a voice that speaks in a calm way that is actually calming to listen to, one where the words are pronounced very, very clearly, and unsurprisingly sexy or having a bit of an erotic twinge to it while featuring these other traits. As terms of what this sounds like in real life, well, I'm going to avoid all controversy here and just pass responsibility off to someone else. Here's a quick YouTube compilation of what someone on the Japanese internet thought were ikebo. If you disagree, don't blame me, it's not my fault.
私は殿下のおそばを離れるわけにはいかぬ。
しゃあない。ようわかるように君らの長さで教えてあげるわ。
死後が助けたがってる。
俺が短い人生で学んだことは、人間は策を浪すれば浪するほど予期せぬ事態で策が崩れ去るってことだ。
伝えるのは信じるもの、俺たちが信じたもの。
たった一つのシンプルな答えだ。
俺たちみたいなはぐれ者が我慢せずありのままでいることが許される優しい世界なんだ。
よーし、そんじゃ授業を始めるぞ。
は裏の裏を読むべし。
僕しかいない。
まあせいぜい悔いが残らない方を自分で選べ。
僕の命は助けてくれるのか。
貴様、どこの所属だ。では203コーチあたりで会っていたかもしれんな。
最低でも2時間は踊ってもらうぜ。俺様のビギに良いな。
何を言ってるんだあのガキは。脳みそが頭に詰まってないのか。
So as you can see, all of those were basically the voices produced by men. And just like ikemen, ikebo is most often associated with male speech. You don't see a lot of examples of women or women voice actors, etc. being called ikebo, although I will return to that in a second. As for how the term is used, you can see it very clearly as a noun. In this post here, for instance, someone is noting how the figure skaters Nathan Lee and Shoma Uno had a competition, and despite that Shoma lost, Lee was very, very complimentary to him. And in addition to praising this sort of good sportsmanship, the person notices that they also made the comments with an ikebo, so commenting the sexiness, the attractiveness of Lee's voice. That said, there is also people that just like to make compilations of what they think are ikebo, as in this ikeboshu, or collection of ikebo that somebody posted online. From what I can tell, the verbing of this as ikeboru unfortunately doesn't happen. It'd be simple and nice. Generally speaking, to produce an ikebo is used in a number of verbs, but one common one is ikebo o todokeru, or to deliver a ikebo voice. This post here you can see is a very clear example of that, although ikebo o tsukuru, ikebo o dasu, and ikebo o enjiru are all not uncommon as well. In terms of listening, ikebo kiku is the common phrasing, but I also did see some examples of people saying ikebo tanno suru, which is to enjoy or appreciate, making it sound a bit more romantic and poetic. You're not just listening, you're appreciating the iketeru voice. One of my favorite phrasings, though, is ikebo o buki ni suru, or someone who makes their ikebo a weapon, which is, of course, a high compliment for the quality of someone's voice. As far as I can tell, this word has been in pretty common use since at least 2011. Google Trends shows it starting certainly a bit before that, but as you can see, 2011 is when it starts to go up, and it's indeed going up and up and up. So this is a term that, despite having been around for at least a decade, is certainly seeing use. Now, to finish things off, though, let's zoom back to that it's usually used towards men thing. You certainly can call a woman with a sexy, attractive voice, especially one that, again, is low and calm, having an ikebo. But that said, when this happens, is in posts like this one here, you can see that it's often hedged a bit. For instance, this person says, "Josei dattan dakedo," or so they were a woman, but, and then goes on to give them the compliment of having an ikebo. So a lot of these posts, they recognize that they're kind of pushing against the grain. It's not impossible, but generally speaking, if you say like ikebo datta with no other context, they're going to assume a male speaker. Except there seems to be a pretty common and accepted use of ikebo to refer to the voices of women VTubers. I unfortunately can't explain why, but I was able to find plenty of female YouTubers being described as ikebo. This went far beyond any examples I was able to find of, actual women being referred to using this term. So I guess everyone can be ikebo, and if you're a virtual person, it's even more likely. But do remember that, generally speaking, all things being fair, ikebo is probably going to refer to male speech, and certainly always has to refer to a voice which is sexy in a lower, kind of calmer register. A more sultry or lighter tone kind of voice that you may find sexy does not fit in with the traditional, at least, definitions of an ikebo. Anyway, I'm sick as a dog, so I absolutely do not have an ikebo right now, and so I'm just going to end it right there, and I'll see you next time.